Okay, here we go, friends. Hey, how's it going? First of all, I have no idea if this is going to work because I did a speed test earlier this evening and my internet is going very slow. So this might be very choppy. Who knows? It might not be happening at all. But I need to distract myself this evening, and I imagine a lot of people might need to distract themselves. And what better way to distract yourself from social media and other things and all of the everything than model rocketry or any hobby, really. So I really don't know what we're even going to talk about, what I'm going to show you this evening. Um, Maybe I'll do some shopping or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll do some open rocket. I have no idea. I was going to show you some video that I had shot, but I realized I had not transferred it onto my computer. And the phone that I use to shoot video, a lot of the video, is currently dead because it is not my actual phone. I bought an old, like an older generation iPhone Pro, like a iPhone Pro 11, I think it was, to shoot video with. My Google Pixel, which is what I'm streaming through, that's my actual main phone. And a lot of people talk about how awesome the camera is, and it's got some nice features, like, for example, the excuse me, the stabilization's great. Like I first started trying to shoot with, well, not first, but I used to try and shoot with a DSLR, which is a great camera, but hard to get a stable shot of rockets flying, especially fast flying model rockets or high power rockets, um, with a DSLR. And a phone just has much better stabilization. The problem with the Pixel is I've noticed that when I'm outside, the colors are weird. Like it's like it's over sharpens everything, and stuff like grass looks just doesn't look right. Um, and so I thought, well, people are always talking about how awesome iPhones are for video, and so I decided to get a used one on eBay, um, and that's what I did. And so I think that that's probably a little bit better for the rocket videos for the outdoor stuff. I don't really like the way it makes my skin look. I still like the Google Pixel here for indoor stuff because the iPhone for some reason always makes me look like I'm really badly sunburned. Um, so anyway, we're distracting ourselves this evening from whatever is going on with some model rocketry. I've got my favorite non-alcoholic beer here, um, Athletic Brewing Company, not a sponsor, um, but I should just thought I should mention that it's a family channel. This is not booze. This is a non-alcoholic beer. So um, anyway, so maybe I'll show you some footage that I shot last year. I've been working on this video for like over a year on mounting video cameras to rockets, and I, I think it's going to be a good video. But I've had trouble. Specifically, I've had trouble at some of my fall launches, both last year and this year, with the just with well, various technical issues. Like I had a camera not turn on, I think, last year. I had some other things happen. And this year I had a camera mounted to a rocket and it disappeared. When I went to recover the rocket, the flight was beautiful. The shot from my phone was beautiful. I was going to show you that, but I haven't loaded it on my computer yet. Um, Went to recover the rocket, and the camera was just gone. So I was going to reshoot that at the next launch, which was going to be this past Sunday, just yesterday, a couple days ago. Excuse me. And we are having drought conditions and red flag fire weather warnings, which is not something I had ever heard about until recently. Fire weather. So we were told not to fly because obviously rockets use fire. You want to avoid setting an entire field on fire for a hobby. So we have postponed that launch until the 16th, which I don't know if it's going to happen then either. I don't see any rain in the forecast. Maybe the colder weather will make it okay for us to fly. I have no idea. And also, I am technically supposed to work that day. Um, I'm trying to arrange things so that I can be off. I think I technically have enough footage from last year to finish this video on video cameras on rockets, but I think I've gotten better at being on camera, and I look at the video that I shot last year and I don't love it, but the flight footage is there. And I did buy a new camera. The camera that I lost was the Estes Universal Astrocam, and it's real funny because 2 days before I lost the camera, it was a 40. And I do have a promo code. If you go to EstesRockets.com and you use the coupon code AWA10, you can save 10% on your whole order at EstesRockets.com. And it supports the channel because I get a little commission for sending you there, and you save 10%. So AWA10 at EstesRockets.com if you want to pick yourself up a Universal Astrocam. You can also find them on Amazon. But I don't think they're any cheaper on Amazon. They're definitely not cheaper than 10% off. Although shipping may, I'll drop a link in the description once this video is published. And I also have an Amazon affiliate. So if you want to buy it through that link or something, and I'll get like 5 cents or something. I don't know. Won't cost you anything extra. So let's see. I don't even know if anybody's watching this. I don't even know if, the bit rate is slower than the recommended bit rate. So we're, as I said before, the internet speed is not great. And what I'm looking at on YouTube Studio here is not looking super duper. Let's see if you can see that. Is that the right one? Yep, there you go. See that? Look, it's all choppy, but maybe that's not what it looks like to you guys. I don't know. Sure. What do I have up here on the old? Oh, look, I'm getting hearts. Oliver the Space Nerd. Sweet. That's what, Oliver, I am doing this specifically for a break from the news. So, here we are, friends. We are going to do some model rocket stuff. Gosh, what should we do first? You know what I haven't done for a while is go shopping for rocket stuff. So let's go. We're going to, let's go to ASP Rocketry. Let me bring this up here. ASPRocketry.com. Let me make sure this is very awkward because I don't have a monitor. Oh, there we go. Okay, so excuse me, I'm a little sniffly tonight. I'm not ill, but I'm sniffly. So ASP Aerospace Specialty Products. This is a great website. I've talked about some of these websites in the video that I published a couple years ago, which has gotten a lot of traction, which is where to buy model rocket stuff other than Amazon. Although you can buy stuff on Amazon, it's not necessarily the best place to do it. ASP is one of the small suppliers in the business, and they got a lot of great stuff. And let's just take a look at some of the cool stuff that they have here. They do have kits, obviously, and they have their own supply, like scale models and competition models and things like that. But one of the things that I really like getting I like getting parts from ASP. Specifically, I like getting parachutes. They have these great nylon parachutes, which are really fantastic. They have ripstop nylon chutes. I have, actually, the ones behind me, those are Estes. You can see the red over my lights. Those are actually parachutes. Those are red Estes parachutes. But they have these really nice thin mill. I like the thin mill ones because they are easier to pack than the regular mill parachutes. But they have like 12-inch and 15-inch, and they're very pretty, cute little parachutes. You don't want to cut a spill hole in these because they're nylon. Obviously, the threads will start to come out. But honestly, with a nylon parachute, you don't need a spill hole because the air will leak through the fabric, and so you don't get as much rocking with a nylon parachute as you would with a plastic parachute. But they have the 15-inch and they have the 12-inch. Those are really nice. But they also have all kinds of tubes. They have these Mylar sport chutes as well and competition chutes. They have these X-Form nylon chutes, and I do have one But the one time I tried to use it, something happened with that rocket and it just got all tangled up. So I have not yet successfully tried the X form parachute. The X form parachutes are interesting because they're supposed to drift less and rock less, but they're not. They're not. I don't think they're supposed to be slower, or you know, I don't think they're supposed to be faster. I think they're supposed to be comparable in their ability to slow a rocket down. I don't really know. I haven't, like I said, I haven't really had the chance to use them. Sorry, I'm going back and forth between the YouTube studio just to check and make sure, and so that I can see the chat. And I think, I can see the chat on here too. Yeah, this is my software. Let me put my camera on so you don't have to see my software. That's really obnoxious. All right, so we got Wheelax World, we got Kevin's Models and More, we got Oliver the Space Nerd. All right, guys, I hope you're enjoying this. We are here to just sort of hang out and not pay attention to the internet right now, other than YouTube, obviously. Anyway, so these nylon chutes, they're pretty nice. It's interesting the way you kind of fold an X-form parachute a bit like a house, like you fold the X's over. You eventually end up with like a square, and I don't know. I'm not really going to be able to demonstrate it, but the thing that I really like is parts with ASP. ASP is not sponsoring me. I don't have an affiliate link. They don't have an affiliate program. But they have great tubes. They have long tubes. This is real interesting. They have 18 inches is a standard length of model rocket tube that you can get. And a lot of times you just buy tubes from like John Rocket or Apogee or whoever. 18 inches is like the standard full-length tube. But these ASP has like 30-inch long tubes for certain sizes. Like these BT50 tubes and BT55. The telescoping tubes the telescoping tubes fit just inside the other tubes. I'm not really sure what you would use those for other than making payloads, perhaps. But the extra long tubes are nice because sometimes you want a longer rocket, especially if you're scratch building or something. And, if you couple two tubes together where you have that little seam there, that little gap, and you can fill that if you want, or you can turn it into a payload section, which is what I usually do. But if it's going to be all one color, then it kind of looks nicer if you can sort of fill that in so that it looks like one piece. Well, if you've got an extra long, like 30-inch tube, you don't have to worry about that so much. They also carry the BT70 size tubes, which is it's between BT60 and BT80. You don't find a lot of those currently. Estes, it's a standard Estes size, but there are not a lot of rockets that currently use the BT70 size tube. And you can also find nose cones. And the real nice thing about, excuse me, a little gassy tonight. Well, that's life. The nice thing about these balsa wood nose cones is they're really well turned. And they have them in all kinds of sizes. They have a I think they only currently have one BT70 size nose cone. It's a bit of a Bertha looking nose cone. There are other suppliers that do BT70 size nose cones. But they have all sorts of shapes of these cones here, these wood cones, and you just sort of got to pick the one you want. And if you're building like a competition rocket, you want a lightweight nose cone, balsa is often the way to go. So if you were to do like a payload model for a standard NAR payload, which is it's like 24, 25 gram payload that fits just inside a BT20 tube, you want a nose cone for that. You can get little plastic nose cones, but the balsa ones are actually a little bit lighter and will sim at a higher altitude. Of course, you can also pick up your plastic nose cones from Estes, from ASP. Everybody carries those Estes. They got the little Micromax, too, if you're really into Micromax. Little teeny tiny rockets. But yeah, you can pick up all those Estes cones. I do miss, this one here. Am I showing this? No. Okay. Sorry. Is that just my face? So this is what happens when I don't have a monitor. So this is the current BT60 assortment from Estes, and it's great. But they used to have a 4-pack of 2 Bertha cones, which I really liked, and 2 of these tangent ogives that were they were just the right nose cone, for a small BT60 rocket. So that's ASP. They've got tons of centering rings, including cluster rings, which are pretty neat. If you're building cluster rockets, and you need, especially, I mean, there are ways of building cluster rockets where you can either make your own centering rings, or you can skip the centering rings. You can just stuff the gaps between the centering, between the motor tube and the body tube with like some cotton and glue. But it's nice to have a centering ring sometimes, especially if you have a tube that's significantly larger than the motor tubes, and you have a gap there. It's kind of nice to have these laser cut centering rings. Let's check the chat. Am I actually? Yep, there we go. There's my face, and there's the stuff. Balsa Machining Service. Wheelox World mentions Balsa Machining Service has BT70 tubes and cones. Balsa Machining Service. Let's take a look at them because they're balsamachining.com /hashtag. You don't need to put the hashtag. It'll take you there. That's a great supplier for balsa stuff. They also got those nylon chutes. If you are looking for bulk packs of rockets for, say, students or scouting groups or something, this school rocket kit is probably the best deal you're going to find anywhere, because you can buy as many as you want, and they're $6.75 a piece. They have balsa nose cones, balsa fins. The body tube, which you can see right here, is slotted, and so it's especially for beginning builders, it's real easy to get those fins right where they need to go. I've taught model rocket camp to kids 11 to 14. One 10-year-old snuck in there somehow, and some of those beginners have real trouble with using too much glue and just putting fins anywhere. And so this school rocket kit's really great for beginners, and like I say, it's real cheap. And hey, if you want to just, a lot of us adults like little rockets too. So, you pick yourself up a few of those. But they have, they have kits. Those are the kits. But they also have nose cones and transitions. You can buy a lot of the old out of stock or out of production nose cones for old classic Estes kits. Now you kind of have to sort of figure out what's the cone that you need, but if you're into building recreations or reproductions of old Estes kits, you can find them. The interesting thing is, though, when you go on Balsa Machining Service and you try and look at the cones, what you're going to get is a diagram like this. So you're not going to get a photograph, and that might seem a little off-putting for some folks, but people who shop at Balsa Machining swear by it. They do good work. They're very reputable. I don't know that I've ever picked up any supplies from them myself, because there's just a lot of rocket suppliers out of there. But I always mention them because they have such a good reputation. Here's, like, you can see this here. This is this looks like a I want to say that's a Gemini capsule in balsa. So if you're building your own BT60 size Gemini capsule, you get a nose cone from there, and do real basic or really detailed work depending on your skill as a modeler. So that is a good call out there for Balsa Machining Service. AC Supply, which is at acsupplyco.com. This is an interesting one. So in my previous video where I talk about places to buy rocket stuff, I do mention that AC Supply is a discounter. Now, Estes changed their rules on advertising prices for their supplies. So if you go there, for example, you're not going to initially see. Let's just look at some Estes rockets here. You're not going to see a cheap price on here. It's not going to look like it's on sale, because they have to advertise the rocket at it's like at a full price or at a specific price. But then when you add it to your cart and you go to your shopping cart, you will see that it is in fact discounted. So it's ringing up as $17.59 once it's in your cart. It's $21.99 on the website, and that's just because of a rule of Estes. Now, I don't really know why that happened, but I have a suspicion. that has to do with Amazon, because Amazon has rules where if you sell on Amazon, you're not allowed to sell cheaper elsewhere than on Amazon, and so it's possible that because Estes does sell their products on Amazon, this is speculation. This is just speculation. I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon told them they had to have their other suppliers advertise at the same price or higher price than you could get on Amazon. I don't know if that's true. It could have just been an internal decision by Estes, but it makes sense to me. So there's that. All right. AC Supply is great. And they are, it's the crawlers right here. Anything over $100 gets you free shipping. So that's a really good way of getting like a lot of motors and stuff. And some of the larger motors like the E's and F's, the 29 millimeter ones, come with something called a hazmat fee. I think it's like $33. It went up not too long ago. I haven't bought any hazmat stuff for a while. They used to have, actually, you know what? They do have composite motors now from Aerotech. They used to only have Estes. Of course, Aerotech made those old composite motors from Aerotech. But they've got Aerotech motors now. Excuse me. Now, when you buy something like this, like a G80, there's a hazmat fee with it. It says... This Energic, no hazmat fee. What? For a G80, really? Huh. The propellant weight is 62.5 grams. That's surprising to me. I thought the G80 would have had a hazmat fee. So hazmat fee, if you have a propellant grain over a certain weight, and I thought it was 30 grams, came with a hazmat fee, which I think is $33. Anyway, if you run across a hazmat motor, there are a couple of different ways of dealing with the hazmat fee, which is kind of a pain. If you're just buying one motor, it's not worth it because you're paying for the motor and you're paying the shipping, plus you're paying a 33 or 35 or 30, whatever it is now, hazmat fee, which is a pain. But when I was buying Estes branded G40s on this website back when they had them, I would buy enough of them so that I got free shipping, and they were at a 40% off discount from what they were elsewhere. And you just pay one hazmat fee for all the motors. So the hazmat fee turned out to be like $1 a motor, something like that. I would buy a lot of them. I bought a lot of them on here. I love those G40s. I love the F26s. And you can still get an Aerotech G40. It's very similar. Of course, the Aerotech made the Estes G40, and I don't even know if you guys can see my stream. Right now, if you're looking at this is my YouTube studio. I'm just checking to make sure. All right. Yes. Burke FJ is the Rocket Glider King. You are correct. You are correct, sir. Yeah, so AC Supply, always a good supplier, and a good discount supplier. Let's see. Should we do more shopping stuff? Why not? Let's go to erockets.biz. erockets.biz. Home of your... which is, of course, a sponsor of the Model Rocket Show. There is a new episode out of the Model Rocket Show. Came out a couple weeks ago. For some reason, my podcast app it's not showing up on there. It's on the website. It's not showing up. But if you haven't been able to hear that latest episode, let me know and let me know what podcatcher you have, because I'm curious about it. I'm gonna have to switch apps, I think, because I find the one I'm using, which is like Podcast Addict, I'm finding it a little irritating. But especially irritating that my podcast is not showing up on my own feed. The Rocketry Show, that same episode was on the Rocketry Show, and it is on that feed. So the Nike Smoke, I got one right back. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. Where did I put it? Oh, it's back on the floor. I'm not gonna get up. I'm too tired to get up. It's been a long work week. This Nike Smoke is back. This Nike Smoke. I'm not. This video is not sponsored, I should mention. I just happen to be the host of the Model Rocket Show. eRockets is a good vendor, and the Estes Nike Smoke Pro Series kit is a great kit. Again, you can get it at EstesRockets.com using the promo code AWA10. That is my promo code. That'll save you 10%. You could get the same rocket at AC Supply, but they have it here. The great thing about eRockets, though, is all of the Semrock stuff. So eRockets makes Semrock. Let's go to Semrock and see what they got. Semrock rocket kits. And let's see what we got here. There are a few that I really like here. So we got the Cherokee D. The Cherokee D, which you may be familiar with. A lot of folks like the Cherokee D. There's a few of them here. Is there the regular size one? I don't know. I'm going to show you the big one, though. This is the Cherokee Pro. This is it's like 2.6 inch diameter upscale of the Cherokee D. You know what? Hold on. I'll show you my Cherokee D. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'm be right back. I'm coming right back. All right. Whoop. Let me not cause any damage here to my beautiful rocket. All right, so first of all, I'm going to switch over to my camera. Semrock kits are beautiful. So this is a reproduction of the Cherokee D. I don't want to hit my microphone stand. The Cherokee D. This is the old Estes Cherokee D. It's the Semrock version of the old Estes kit. It's got a balsa nose cone, and I'm very proud of this nose cone. I've only flown this rocket once. This is one of my shelf queens, and it's one of those rockets that I gotta learn to not be so precious about some of these rockets. Here's the thing. Sometimes I'll build two of something because I put so much effort into making one look pretty that I don't want to damage it. So I've flown this one once. I didn't even fly. I think I flew it on a B or C, and it can take, obviously the name implies it will fit the Mighty D D12 engine / motor. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous rocket, but I worked really hard on making that balsa nose cone look perfect. You cannot see a bit of wood grain in there, and that's kind of a challenge with balsa. And you have the Cherokee rocket. It is a great rocket. Well, the eRockets has the Pro Cherokee, which is not little. It is big. It's got a 29 millimeter motor mount. It's kind of like the Estes Pro Series version of the Cherokee D, and it's great, and it's got some really nice parts. Semrock rockets are just great. They're larger, more high-power stuff, has these large plastic nose cones. A lot of their smaller rockets have balsa nose cones, which a lot of the old-timers like to work with because it's a nice challenge. Centering rings and laser cut plywood fins, and this is a great one. You know, sometimes people will ask what's a good kit to get a level 1 certification on for high power, and there are all these people will recommend all kinds of stuff, things that are specifically built for high power only, and like with 38 millimeter motor mounts. I've seen people say, oh, you should go with something 38 millimeters because you get a lot of different motor selection. But the thing is, all you have to do with a certification flight is just get the certification. And there are a lot of H motors that are 29 millimeter. There are the I motors that are 29 millimeter as well. But I think it's better to just get the cert. Go with an H, go with something simple, something not too expensive, and go with like an Estes Pro Series rocket. That Nike Smoke is a perfect example of a an Estes kit that you could use. I flew mine on a Leviathan, which is back. It's black. You probably can't see it. It's behind me. Let me see. Can you see it? It's black with silver bands right here. No, right. Hold on. Right there. That's my high power rocket. Well, that's my high power level 1 certification rocket. It was an Estes Leviathan. I flew it on a Cesaroni H122, 132. I can't remember. Beautiful flight. Anyway, these Cherokee rockets are gorgeous, and it's got all of the quality of a Semrock rocket. It's got that little S that you can see right there. It's got the, let me switch screens. You could see right there. It's got the Estes screw-on motor retainer. It's got nice long shock cord made out of Kevlar. Great rocket, and can't go wrong with a Semrock. I've got a few smaller Semrock rockets with some nice balsa wood parts that I'm really looking forward to working on. I didn't build a lot of rockets for a bit. Pardon me. I didn't build a lot of rockets for a while. I was kind of busy with other things, and if you're a listener of the podcast, you noticed, of course, I didn't do the podcast for 2 years. Just had a lot going on, but I've been building more recently, and I started by finishing stuff that I had been working on for, like my V2. Well, my V2's over there. I'm not gonna go get it. But my Estes V2, I started like 2 years ago, and when I realized that I started it 2 years ago, and then it was just waiting to be painted, finally painted it. So that one's gonna feature in an upcoming video on stability and doing a swing test. If you know what a swing test is where you take the rocket, tie it to a string, and swing it around your head to make sure it's stable. And the reason you do that with a kit is if you modify the kit and you're a little unsure whether it will be stable or not because you don't know where the center of pressure is, which I don't with that V2, then it's a good way of checking and making sure the rocket will probably be stable. It's fun, too. It's fun to do with kids in like a model rocket camp setting. So the V2 is real interesting because the original V2 missile had fins, but it was a little understable, and it had jet vanes that would sort of actively stabilize the rocket. Well, model rockets don't have jet vanes, and with very few exceptions, such as BPS Space, you don't have active stabilization on model rockets. You just have the fins. So in order to ensure that the V2 model rocket would be stable, Estes had to make the fins larger than scale, so it's a semi-scale rocket. And if you look at the actual V2, if you look at the V2 model rocket and you compare it with an actual V2, it's quite noticeable how much larger the fins are. Now, we've done a live stream here on Open Rocket, and obviously you can figure out where the center of pressure is on a rocket by building a simulation of it. But because of the weird shape of those V2 fins, let's see if I can find a V2. Just to bring up just so we have here we go. Just so we have a visual aid. Boy, my come on, wake up. Nope. Why won't it just open? Doggone it. Yeah, so we have those oddly shaped fins, and they're on sort of like an ogive tail cone. It's a little hard for me to. I haven't quite gotten the exact shape of the fins in my Open Rocket simulation, so I really have no idea where the. Let me go back. I cut the fins smaller. I made the fins on my model smaller so that they would be scale. So I've reduced some fin area. So I've moved the center of pressure. I don't know where the center of pressure is because, try as I might, I have not succeeded in making a V2 in OpenRocket that looks like the V2. It looks real funny. I wonder if I can find my V2. Hold up. OpenRocket. I hope I'm not showing you guys anything on my... There we go. I don't think I have anything that I shouldn't have on my desktop, like financial, this or that. Nope, it's all rocket stuff. Let's open OpenRocket and see if I can find my V2. And I think you guys will find this funny if I can find it. Hey, Ariane, I saw you on the Estes Instagram today. I was like, I know that guy. Retro Cosmodrome was on the Estes Instagram. Very cool. Also has featured in Sport Rocketry magazine. All right, so come on, wake up, OpenRocket. Where are you, bud? Come on, wake up. So we're just hanging out, and we are ignoring the rest of the internet for the evening because, who wants to deal with things going on? So let's see if I can find my Estes V2. It's probably going to be, let's see, Estes Leviathan, Estes boop. I don't think this would be in here because I think I put it in something called Rough Drafts. Whoa. Thank you. Rude. Simulations, my fleet. So Rough Drafts. Okay. So, nope, that's not it. Skywolf. I transferred everything over to my new computer, and a lot of my stuff did not come with it, or it's all right, so wait a minute. OpenRocket files, Rocketry, documents. Hold up. This PC, I have things everywhere. So I have stuff from an old computer that you know what? I don't know what I'm going to come across if I just start looking for stuff. So I'm not going to do that. So you're just going to have to trust me that my V2 did not look right. Why was I talking about that? E-Rockets, Estes, V2, swing test. I don't remember. Anyway, how are you guys doing? Is everybody doing okay? Sweet. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Not surprised. And when I'm looking at my YouTube studio here, I am seeing stuff that I did about 20 minutes ago. So, I don't know if I'm even still streaming, but I'm going to keep talking just in case. And I think we're going to close down that. And we're going to close down. So anyway, Semrock, if you've never built a Semrock kit, I picked up a couple really cool ones at an auction recently for my club. We have a Bill Spadafora Memorial auction once a year to raise funds for educational purposes. Bill Spadafora was the former CMAS president, and he passed away. Gosh, it must have been in 2014 or 2015. It was before I got here, before I came to Boston and joined CMAS shortly before then. He passed away. And so, he had a lot of kits and parts and things that they auctioned off at one point. And I think a lot of other people do as well. And some people will donate stuff. And so this year I picked up a couple of rockets. I picked up an Estes Terrier Sandhawk, which is an out of production Pro Series kit, sounding rocket scale model. And I'm going to try and make it a 2-stage rocket, because when I build rockets that are like scale models of sounding rockets that were multi-stage, I try to make the rocket kit multi-stage, even though they're often built as 1-stage rockets. But I'm going to take my time with that one. I have a whole lot on the build pile. If you yourself have an out of design, you gotta post some of those rockets you're designing. So yeah, I have a lot on the build pile. So if you have a lot on the build pile and you know how many rockets you have on your build pile, post a note in the comments, because I'm real curious. I don't have any clue how many unbuilt rocket kits I have, because they are in multiple locations. So I think I was off work for a little bit this summer due to reasons that I won't go into, but I was off work for a bit, and I probably should have spent some of that time building rockets, and I didn't. But I think it's time to plunge headlong during this long winter season into building and get some new rockets to lose in trees. So that's my plan for the winter. So yeah. All right. It is 9:43 on my computer, and again we are ignoring the news and just hanging out. And let's see if I got any. I don't know if this is gonna even work, because Rocket Cam. My internet connection is so bad that I'm worried that if I start playing video, I'm worried that if I start playing video, I might end up just crashing the stream. But we're gonna try it anyway. We may try it. So I've been working on this video for over a year. And the reason, listen, I could have probably been done with it last year, except that I'm trying to make better YouTube videos, because I'm trying to grow this channel, and there's a lot of like model rocket stuff out on YouTube, and it's like stuff that has like a 20, 30 views, and I know that people are curious. I know people are looking for something, and I'm trying to do something different with my time here, and I want to see if I can be an actual real live professional YouTuber. Joe Barnard did it. When I met Joe Barnard of BPS Space, he was a wedding videographer with a weird model rocket project that he just kind of wanted to try, and now he makes his living on YouTube. Now, of course, he's a videographer, so he's got to step up when it comes to video quality. But planning out these videos and stuff, I go out and I shoot stuff, and then I come home and I'm like, it's not quite good enough. So, this one, I kind of want it to be a good video. But I had a lot of, you can see I've got a lot of talking heads here in this screen. But let's see if I can find at least one good Nike Smoke launch video here. So I think this one here is actually handheld. A couple of these are on a tripod, so you only see the rocket lift off. Let's try this one. Nike Smoke at the pad trim. So I think this is going to be just a real short video. We're going to try and play this. We'll see if you can even see this. I don't know.
Daniel Petrie, the rocket noob, has his Nike Smoke flying an Estes F-26-6. Pad C going up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Whoa, very loud. This is one of my favorite rockets. I'm like, if I'm having a bad day, this is the rocket that I grab. Like if I'm either having things failing to launch or getting broken or getting stuck in a tree or floating over the horizon, which happened a few times, I get out the Nike Smoke. I put in a Jolly Logic shoot release for 300 feet. I stick an F or a G motor in there. I have a great flight. It's always beautiful. It always comes back. A couple times I've had a fin get a little cracked and I've just had to re-epoxy it, but it's a great rocket. And if you don't have one, you should pick one up because the Estes brought them back, and it's a fantastic rocket. Let's see if we got a good launch video here. I did have a great video on the channel for a while that let me pause this before it starts. Hold on.
Daniel Petrie, the rocket noob.
Okay. So I did have a video of this rocket on the channel for a while that I really liked. But this was before I was trying to be kind of professional about YouTube, and I had copyrighted music on it. It was Aphex Twin, if you know who Aphex Twin is. And it was, I mean, I loved the way the music went with the video. But I went through a while back and I took down all the videos that had any kind of copyright music in it. And if I still had if I could find the footage that made up that original video, I would re-edit it and put something else under it that wasn't copyrighted music. But I can't seem to find it. And the original cut was in a software that's no longer available. So whatever. I can watch it myself. I still really like it. I really love the Aphex Twin stuff. I used to have all these slow-mo compilations every year, but it had like big name bands, like post-rock bands like Sigur Rós and stuff. And I loved it. It sounded great. It was really beautiful with the slow-mo launch stuff, but it was copyrighted, so I had to take that off. But anyway,
Has his Nike Smoke flying an Estes
see how this looks.
F-26-6.
A few times so they blow up all the time.
Pad C going up in 5,
Come on.
4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Oh, okay. My computer's being real bad, and that's not going to play. So this is not going to work. It's not going to work. Let's go back to the stream and see. Don't let perfection get in the way. You were right. Perfection is the enemy of the good. So as a matter of fact, I finished my V2 and it's got a number of flaws, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with most of them. Although I didn't get some of my lines matched up, and I'm going to have to try and fix that. But that's okay. If you see my Saturn V in the background, a lot of people see that Saturn V and they're like, ooh, that's beautiful, it's perfect. And it's not. I see all the flaws, but that's okay, because you know what? The real Saturn V also had flaws. If you look really close, you can see that the Saturn V originally had more black on it, and they covered some of that up with white because it was getting too hot in the Florida sun. And, and they didn't cover it nicely. If you look at the real Nike Smoke, that was originally painted olive drab green, and it's got marks on it from when it was lying on a cradle, and they just spray painted the whole thing white, but they didn't bother to spray paint the part with the cradle marks on it. So it's got cradle marks. And if you buy a Nike Smoke, like a small Nike Smoke kit now, it has these little decals that are supposed to represent cradle marks. Of course, I think they're a little too square. So I'm building another Nike Smoke, and I'm going to paint it drab green, and then I'm going to stick something on there to sort of mask a little bit of it off, and then I'm going to spray paint the whole thing white and be sloppy about it, because that's what they did. And I have somebody who cut me a decal, a United States decal, so I could just spray paint it on there instead of worry about the decal. So yeah, perfection is the enemy of the good. Now, I used to try and make things perfect, but here's the thing. If you have a tough kit, if you have a rocket kit you want to build, and either it's kind of like a dream rocket, like, maybe it's more vintage or something, or it's challenging, like it's a Saturn 1B, or something like that. Eventually, I think you just need to build it, and it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. And try not to make any grave errors with it that are gonna mess it up, where it's not gonna be flyable or something. But you're not, unless this is a really complicated build, that's not gonna happen. There are a lot of resources out there. Modelrocketbuilding.blogspot.com by Chris Michelson. Let's look at that one. That's a great resource. This is the Model Rocket Building blog. This guy is a craftsman. He is, bar none, one of the best builders. He's been publishing this blog for ages, and most likely, if there is a kit you want to build, he has built it. And you can find, this thing goes back to 2010. This is how long this blog's been going on. 14 years old. And he's got lots and lots. He's got all these tags. You can look up things. You can find kits. And, if you are tackling a tough kit and you want some tips, look on this Model Rocket blog, modelrocketbuilding.blogspot.com website, and most likely he has dealt with it at some point or other in the past. Now, I've done a few of these, but I do not have anywhere near, and I'm not, I make pretty rockets. I'm not bad at it, but I do not have anywhere near the skill of someone like Chris Michelson or James Duffy, who is at rocket.arrow on YouTube. And he's doing a build series where he has been doing a build series on the most recent Saturn V by Estes. And he is a competition rocketeer, and he's really a real craftsman. And there are some people who just have this real facility with things like decals and paint and masking tape. Masking tape alone, James Duffy recently posted a picture of a roll pattern for the new Estes, what the heck is it called? Estes rocket. It's a sounding rocket scale model. It's the brand new one that they have, and it's right there, Athena H. Yeah, see this roll pattern right here. James Duffy did that. He masked that off by hand, and I said, "You got to build." I emailed him. I said, "You gotta do a video on that, because I understand how you made that roll pattern, but my fingers get in the way when it deals with tiny little pieces of tape, trying to mask something off like that. And some people just have a real facility of it, and I don't know if it's that they just keep doing it until they." And messing it up until they finally get a piece of tape in just the right spot where they haven't messed it up, or what, or if there are some tricks to it. But, I build some nice rockets, but these guys, there's no competition there. Let me see. Am I even still on? Well, this says that I'm still on, and I'm still getting some chats. So that's great. That's cool. I got 6 people viewing the stream. I am getting a little tired. Been on for almost an hour. I'm probably going to call it soon. But yeah. You guys got anything else you want to talk about in the world of rocketry? Drop a note in the chat. And otherwise, I'm probably going to call it pretty quick. My video stuff was not working out. And we don't really need to talk about buying rocket stuff online. So, I think I'm getting tired, and I think this was a good way to distract ourselves and not, spend time on social media or whatever. And, yeah, it was fun. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I think I am going to say goodnight for tonight. So, yeah, if you like the, yeah, absolutely, Todd. Thank you for hanging out. So if you like the stream and you want to see more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And yeah, it's painting rockets is magic, Wheelock's World. I agree with you. There is definitely some witchcraft involved. Yeah, and if you guys have any ideas for videos that you would like me to do subjects on, specifically geared toward more beginners, you know, techniques or what have you, let me know. I'm looking for lots of ideas. I got a lot of things that I'm working on. I have a few videos that I'm halfway done shooting and editing. I don't publish as often as some YouTubers, obviously. I'm trying to get better at that. But yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Robert Austin. You guys have a good night. And yeah, I'll catch you on the other side. I'm going to bed. Good night. X.